I used to drive from Vancouver to the East Coast, all the way up and down the East Coast in the US, and been to just about every place you could think of. And I wanted to get off long haul, so I decided that I'd go to this little town and I would drive their trucks to Vancouver and back. And it's about a 3.5 hour trip instead of 5 days. So I looked at the trailer and I knew that it wasn't a great trailer, and I should not have driven. I wasn't going to drive. And I thought, I've got to get the load to Vancouver. So I set out and I went around one corner and I heard a clunk. And I didn't think much of it. And because I went around another corner the other way and then another one. And then I came to this one corner and I started out going around, and then I felt the trailer starting to go over. I had just filled up the tank, and what went through my mind within a second was, hey, you don't want to burn up in a fire. So I straightened the wheel out, hit the brakes, and then turned. I hit the side of the mountain. That's all I know. I don't remember much after that, except when I came to, I knew I had to get the load to Vancouver, so I decided that I'd get a tow truck, and I was walking back to town to get one. And some other truck driver came across me walking down the highway, and he pulled over and he looked at me and he says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a bit of a headache." And I touched my head, but I didn't realize that I was blood from head to toe, and his eyes were huge. After that, all I heard and all I remember is somebody saying, "Sir, you got to come over here and sit down." And then they took me into the town Lillooet in BC. They stitched up my head and sent me over to Kamloops, which is 2 hours away, and then sent me back. And after that, it was almost like a downhill. I'm very confused. I fell asleep for about 4 days. After that, everything was blurry. Just think of going through a fog. That was my brain. That's what it was like. And I couldn't comprehend or understand anything that was happening to me. And I had a lot of problems, anger problems, frustration. What happened after that is that Workman's Comp sent me to Kamloops to see a woman who's a therapist. Now, I was fortunate because she had a brain injury years ago, went to university, got her degree, and so she understood a lot more about brain injury. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be here. Okay. Kamloops has like a brain injury group, and they all sit around and talk. But that's 2 hours away, and for me to go there is pretty difficult. 2 hours there and 2 hours back, that's exhausting. So I didn't bother going because I really had trouble getting down there. But I moved back to Winnipeg. I knew that Manitoba, in fact every province, has a brain injury association. So I got the phone number out of the phone book, and I phoned up and I said, "Can I come down to your meetings?" And so in September of whatever year it was, I started coming down to the meetings here. I met a lot of people. The understanding that you have with one another, you don't feel like you're alone. You talk about the silly things that happen to you. Forgetting your telephone and not knowing where it is, and you have it in your hand and you're talking to somebody. Those are the silly things you go through. But for us, it's funny. It's a joke. I won't tell that to too many other people because they'll think I'm weird. I walk around. I had a vestibular problem. I would walk down the street and in Lillooet and was afraid that the cops were going to pick me up for being drunk because I would stagger down the street. Eventually, you start to overcome a lot of these things. The brain takes a while to heal. The understanding of time heals it. It gets better as you go along. The coming to the association, and one of the reasons that I did come was because of the help that I got from this woman. And I wanted to give back. Right now, myself and another person are going to be opening up the group in the Selkirk area, which is going to take in the Interlake area. And we decided that we're going to do this mainly because there's a few people that we know that get to come in maybe twice a year and would like to be able to have a meeting, but it's too far for them to come. So this is kind of an area where we can all meet and be able to discuss what's going on. The people that were coming to the meetings don't even know that we're starting it back up again, so we're trying to get in touch with these people, or if we had their phone numbers, yeah, it would be great. If we knew where they lived, it would be great. But if you're out there, we're here, and we're here to help you.